Hi again, everyone. I'm Michael Clark, live here at LTV. Please excuse the technical difficulties that we had before we got started here, but it is May the 12th, and as we do every Wednesday at 2 o'clock or a couple minutes after, we bring you Ask the Supervisor, where you can pose your questions, thoughts, and ideas to East Hampton Town Supervisor Peter Van Scoyoc. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Okay, not too bad. This is the beauty of live television, Peter. You get those technical difficulties every once in a while, and we get bumped, but we're good to go now.
That's right. Well, that's what keeps it interesting, the spontaneity, right?
Right. It's like live music. It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So, as always, thank you for making yourself available, Peter, to field town-oriented questions or any questions, really. How do you think the Mets are going to do? Whatever. Here on LTV Channel 22 or LTV's YouTube page. So, folks, if you have a question, you simply dial the number that you see at the top of the screen, and you will be put into queue to speak. Or if you prefer, you can also send your questions to Michael Clark, MICHAEL, CLARK, at ltveh.org. And I'll be checking my email prior to and during the show, and I'll read those questions aloud to Peter. So feel free to call in and ask the supervisor. So, Peter, as always, there is plenty to talk about, I guess, until folks call in.
Sure.
Where shall we begin? I mean, I guess, going back to just yesterday, I mean, that was a big ticket item when people were talking about the airport in the town board work session.
Absolutely.
What would you like to say? What do you feel is really your biggest takeaway from all that was presented there, and really from the public comment?
Right. So we had, as you mentioned yesterday, we had a big ticket item discussion. The entire work session was devoted to discussing the airport and a number of studies. The first study that we discussed was the HMMH annual report on operations and complaints. And, we do that on an annual basis, and we've done that since we first attempted to institute those nighttime curfews and exclusions of noisy aircraft. We've kept track of that period of time every year so that we get an idea about overall operations and where the complaints stand. Obviously, with COVID, was reduced number of in-season helicopter flights, I think in particular. However, based on the number of aircraft that were flying, we saw the planes at a pretty consistent rate with previous years. And, there were a number of, I think, takeaways. We've seen an annual increase overall at the airport in operations. The other thing that we discussed was an economic study draft report presented by HR&A, outside consultants. And they've done a very extensive review of the economic impact and of the airport on our local economy. What percent of the economy does it account for, number of jobs, and all of that. And so I think that's really helpful. This is all part of an effort to discuss and have a fair and open review of what the airport brings to East Hampton, both positively and negatively. As you know, the grant assurance will expire in September of this year. However, that doesn't mean we have to make a determination. It's not like a shot clock, if you will. And so we've begun this process of review and engagement with the public. This is just basically a kickoff. We're going to continue that. We understand that there's a need to do other studies as well, environmental impacts of the airport, as well as diversion study. What would it mean if you further restricted aircraft or closed the airport? What would that mean to neighboring airports in terms of diversion? We're obviously very sensitive about Montauk Airport, what the impacts there would be. We don't want to trade one headache for another. It doesn't solve the problem. I do see that we have some callers on the line, so I'd love to hear from the public. Go
ahead, Jack.
All right. Unmuting the first caller. All right. Let's see. caller. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hey, can you mute your TV in the background?
Yeah, I just muted. I'm gonna walk
Perfect.
out the door in my office.
All right, thank you.
Ready to go?
Rock and roll.
Hey, Peter, John Kovalenko, how are you today?
Hey, John, I'm well. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'm calling in. First of all, I don't know if people realize how much work you do behind the scenes that probably are part of what you do, but what you do for the community and how you stepped up to the plate with the challenges the event industry out here and throughout New York State really was faced with, and you got on board all the town supervisors and all the incorporated village mayors to give us some force when we were dealing with the state in order to survive out here, and the impact that the results of that have are, that people are now working again and industries are going to thrive again this summer. And I'm just calling to thank you very much on behalf of myself and all those people that you helped.
Well, thank you so much for that, John. I have been working extremely hard for the people of East Hampton, and I know that the catering business employs so many people. It's a means for folks who have full-time jobs to make a little extra cash, help pay off their mortgages, help send their kids to college, etc. It's not just the caterers themselves, it's all the, other businesses that are also involved, tent companies, rental companies, musicians, florists, you name it. And it was important for the state to understand how those restrictions were really negatively impacting us. We don't have large indoor catering halls like Western towns do. Most of our events are actually outdoors in the summertime, and the residential restriction was just choking us. So I'm glad we got movement on that. It's often a group effort. It's about bringing people together. And we were able to get the other mayors and supervisors on Long Island to join us in our effort and support. And I know you also put together an organization yourself, and was very happy to be a panelist in that discussion. And so again, when we unite as a community, we can get great things done.
Yeah, and the impact was not just local. I mean, it was all East End and statewide, because this opened up regulations throughout the state for all people in this industry. And I called to thank you, and just to let people really know that you're working behind the scenes doing a lot of things, and I appreciate that and your efforts. And also, let me thank Michael and LTV for everything they're doing too. So, I couldn't be more proud to be part of this community. And I just want to let you know that. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the kind words, John, and the acknowledgement that while we don't always talk about what we're doing, we are working hard for the public here.
Let me just give John a plug here as well. While we're in the Mutual Admiration Society here, is great. But John, why don't you just take a minute just to explain what you got going on the 20th of May?
Well,
here at LTV.
Peter has some roots in there too. What you have on from 6 to 8 p.m. We're doing our first virtual live pre-recorded Ladles of Love, and we have such a great lineup this year on that. It's a 2-hour show where we're supporting 5 East End food pantries: Montauk, East Hampton, Amagansett, Sag Harbor, and Wainscott. So any donations that come in the night of the show are going to go directly to the food pantries. We have a couple great sponsors coming in. Darius Narazino and Saunders stepped up to the plate, as did Down There Craft over at the airport. And we're just so grateful to those guys and for all the bands and the musicians that have also put forth the effort to really make this happen. It's going to be a great show. All new music no one's ever heard, and the diversity of the musicians is really something else. And you go on easthamptonfoodpantry.org, you can make a donation, or you can see the lineup. And I think you had said maybe we could get the lineup posted somehow, somewhere. So we're looking forward to that. That's next Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Now we'll go back to the supervisor. I don't want to take up his time, but thank you so much. And
Thank
Peter,
you, John.
thank you for participating in our last ladles.
Yeah, that was fun playing and doing a set with Soup du Jour, Supervisor of the Day, my band.
Yeah, right.
A couple of years ago, right?
That was great.
And John, thanks for all you do for the community. I know you're really involved all over and putting on these fundraisers to raise money for very worthy charitable causes around town.
So
Thanks,
thank you guys again. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, John.
Take care.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Great.
No other callers on the line.
Thank you. Yeah, John's he does so much for the community. A lot of things. Talk about a guy who does things behind the scene. He's the guy that does it. And,
Absolutely.
one of the many people. I mean, that's you and I talk about that often, Peter. But when we used to do Facts at 5 and other times, just how throughout the pandemic and really for always, how everybody just steps up and how people come together. Mm-hmm. And it's really the strength of the East End. I think it's really our strong suit.
Yeah, it is. And, people from all backgrounds, all levels of means, whatever. I mean, we have working people contributing, donating what they have, and donating their time, volunteering. We live in a great community of volunteers. We have volunteer fire department, EMS folks, so many volunteers. And that's what really makes this a great community, in my opinion.
I just had an email come in actually from a John, don't use my last name, in Montauk.
Don't use my last name.
John, don't use my last name in Montauk. Okay, well, this is interesting. I feel the new leaf blower ban is unreasonable. It seems to focus on the rich and famous, but what about the workers or the year-round residents?
Yeah, I mean, I think leaf blowers affect everyone, whether you're rich or poor, and I think they've become used and frankly overused to the extent that it really is impacting people's quality of life. The environmental concerns alone around 2-cycle leaf blowers are many. They only combust about 2/3 of the fuel that they're using, 2/3 to 3/4 of the fuel. The rest of it just gets vaporized and spread around. It's a health hazard to anyone using that, breathing those fumes all day. It affects the environment in other ways as well. The noise involved, especially in more developed neighborhoods. And I think that's really what's pushed this to a critical point. We're not the first community to do this by any means, but, we do allow the gas leaf blowers all year, with the exception now of between May 20th and September 20th. And, Sundays, there's a ban on them as well, except for homeowners. So, the homeowner can use that out of season Sundays. So,
and they can use electric ones as well?
They can use electric. And, that's the other side of it. We want to get people to move away from fossil fuel use. It's changing our climate. It's polluting our waters and our groundwater is threatened by every kind of chemical that we use. So, overall, I think, the time has come. I don't think it's overly restrictive. In fact, many communities are much more aggressive. This is the first step. And there's an adjustment period, but how many years ago was it that we were all using rakes? Much quieter, much healthier.
Yeah.
Let's make America rake again.
There you go.
So,
well, John, I hope that answers your question, John in Montauk. And Peter, why don't you tell us a little bit about Kevin Cooper, your new code enforcement director?
Yeah, we have a new code enforcement director, Kevin Cooper, 32-year veteran of NYPD, and he, was involved with the investigations, subway crimes unit for a number of years. Great guy. I'm looking forward to the community getting to know him a little bit better. He's getting his feet wet. He came on, I guess it was last week, beginning of last week, and with the retirement of Don Koff, who's now decided to enter retirement for a second time. He actually came out of retirement to come work for us. So we do have another person who's highly experienced in law enforcement, and I think he's going to be a great asset to the town.
How does that work, Peter? Like when you're looking to fill a position like that, pretty high level position, like how does that process work within the town?
Well, we do outreach. Civil service position. If it's a civil service position, it's a lot more complicated because you have to go through lists and all sorts of those requirements. We usually put together a selection committee that does interviews. In this case, it included the previous code enforcement director, as well as key staff, human resources department. And once we got down to the final candidates, then we actually did interviews, this time over Zoom because of social distancing. And, Kevin came out on top. He doesn't live too far away. Again, he's a 32-year veteran and seemed to have all the right stuff. So we're very happy to have him come on board, and look forward to his leadership in that department going forward.
Well, we wish him a lot of luck. I'm sure that's a very busy job, especially during the summertime. So
yeah, every job here is busy. Absolutely.
Let's pivot, as they say, the new buzzword, and let's talk a little bit, Peter. It's traditional, I guess, at this point, to talk a little bit about the Pfizer, the vaccines in general, and now the fact that there's a possibility of it being open to 12 to 15-year-olds, and I think that we're waiting for the CDC approvals and New York State approvals. But how does that impact the town of East Hampton?
So, as you know, it was getting more and more difficult to find arms, if you will, to put the vaccine into. We've done a really good job here locally, thanks to your help and some other volunteers, with the vaccination center that I set up, and we've literally done thousands. So the eligible categories, we've pretty much gone through the list. So as 12-year-old and up are eligible moving forward, there's going to be another surge. And as I said before, things are winding down, but if we needed to kickstart again, we could do that. So actually, I've been working with Dr. Gail Schoenfeld to put together a mass vaccination clinic for children, or anyone 12 and up, at an upcoming date. We're looking at the 22nd, May 22nd is that date, be a Pfizer vaccine with a second dose 3 weeks later. So we're working through all that needs to take place so we can make that happen. We would provide the facilities and equipment at our CDCH site, and Dr. Schoenfeld would operate on the site as healthcare professional and bring in staff. We do have some volunteering opportunities, I believe, also, if folks are still interested in that. And also working with the Southampton Stony Brook Hospital to do a pod at the Playhouse in Montauk tomorrow evening from 4 to 8. It's going to be a Moderna vaccine, so 4-week return date. I believe that would be June 10th. And we chose 4 to 8 because we feel that there are a number of people who are working during the day who may not have had an opportunity at our other pods. So, and then there are a number of people in Montauk that, because there's no public transportation, limited transportation opportunities, they might not be able to get to Wayne Scott. So this seemed like the perfect site. We're working with the Montauk Fire Department, who's providing the ambulance service necessary when you do a pod. And again, you can pre-register or you can just come walk in.
And that's tomorrow night. That's tomorrow
night, Thursday, May 13th, 4 to 8 at the Montauk Playhouse.
Oh, that's good to know.
So we're continuing, as we thought things were winding down, now they're picking back up again. We just want to make sure as many people as possible are vaccinated. I am so ready to put this pandemic behind us. I know everybody else is as well. And one of the fastest ways to get there is just to get vaccinated. It's safe, it's effective, takes very little time, virtually painless. I didn't even feel my first shot. They told me, I look back, oh, it's done. Literally did not feel it. And, it's just, again, so important that people take this scientific advantage to preventing serious disease for all of us. We don't want variants, mutating variants, circulating. We have to go back through this entire process. And again, it's really been very difficult for so many. We want to avoid that.
Yeah, we're definitely on the right path, and we're not there yet. And as you said, but we're definitely heading in that right direction. And we just need to stay the course until the end. That's going to be the hard part, I think. I know it is for me. I think everybody. But we'll take it day to day as we have. That's the best we can do.
Right. I mean, the guidance is continuing to change. The beach regulations are being changed. There's still a 6-foot rule, but I believe the governor's now lifted the occupancy levels. Was still at a 50% occupancy as of yesterday, and today the announcement came through that that's going to change. Again, the business restrictions and occupancy levels go back to pre-COVID, with the caveat that you still have to be able to maintain 6-foot distancing.
Right.
In location. That happens as of May 19th. Town offices will be having, they'll be open again. Again, 6-foot distancing, masks required. The clerk's offices at the Playhouse Annex and here at Town Hall have been open for a while now. And people are coming in again. And it's kind of interesting to see, to start seeing people.
Yeah.
Again, being able to interact directly. So
it kind of feels like when you went away to college and then you came back for the summertime. It's like, and you're ready to go crazy. It's gonna.
Well, hopefully not.
Right,
Let's not go crazy.
Yeah, right.
So we're just hoping for a nice chill summer. Everybody just chill.
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself. Sit out and enjoy and chill.
Absolutely. Well, we've just about run out of time here, Peters. And once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and doing this every Wednesday at 2:00. And, we will continue to do it. And I encourage you folks to call in, get your questions together. Again, you can send them to me, like John did from Montauk, and or you can call in and talk directly to Peter. And my email is michaelclark@ltveh.org, or you can call in during the show. So once again, we'll see you next week at 2:00 on Wednesday. And until then, be well.
Michael, thank you. Be well. Thanks to LTV for all you guys do for the community.
Thank you. Take care now.
You too.